Rosen-Schaffel came pretty early in what I would consider like my professional career, but it was a really big confidence booster for me. I, a month later, was a finalist in the National Flute Association Young Artist Competition in August of that same year. About a month after that, I became a Miyazawa artist, so got representation by the brand. I got the position that I currently hold, which is artist in residence at the Flute Center of New York. That's 8 years later, and eventually also transitioned to become the CEO of the same company. So, in the 8 years between, I won, I don't know, somewhere between 10 and 15 competitions. First place. I did get 1 second. That was a bad day. I did get 1 second.
I'm so sorry about that.
Yeah, I know. But I played a lot. I mean, I moved up to New York about May after I graduated from UNCSA. I moved up to New York, and I've had a successful time freelancing. Played with a dozen different chamber groups, orchestras, community orchestras, professional orchestras, everything in between, solo gigs. I played Lincoln Center twice. So, yeah.
That's great. That's a full career.
It's been a wild ride. I honestly can't even believe it.
Do you find yourself as a musician using music as a tool, as an administrator in your CEO role?
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, being a good CEO is a lot like being a conductor. It's also a lot like, the kind of collaborative mindset you have to have when you're just playing chamber music, You find yourself in a position where you can exercise authority, or you can also upset a lot of people if you kind of, flex those muscles too strong. You play in a quartet, the egos of the quartet, you have to, like the good quartets have figured out a way to blend their egos together and make something better than what any of the four of them could do by themselves. And, I think that's something that we do really well at the Flute Center. None of us have egos or ponies that we're, pushing too hard or anything like that. So we're all really, collaborative, and it's very much a musician's mindset.
What's the role of the competition in developing the musicians of 2020 and beyond?
That's a great question. I have a lot of feelings about competitions.
Uh-huh.
I think the most important thing to think about and to remind yourself of as you're preparing for a competition is that the preparation for the competition is what it's about. And the performance is really one small aspect of it. And the outcome is certainly not something that you should push for too much. And there have been competitions that I've played where I thought I did a really terrible job. I mean, it wasn't really what I wanted to do with the piece. I wasn't in the moment. I didn't feel, connected to it at time, and then you end up winning first place. And then other times you think that you just nailed everything, and you're so happy with the outcome, and you don't even place,
Right.
So it's entirely subjective, and you never really know what the judges are listening for. And to be honest, you really shouldn't live your life hoping to please other people that you don't know and that you don't really care about, like a random panel of judges. It really should be about pushing yourself to achieve a greater level of excellence for yourself, and hoping to work out a certain passage, or to work on tone in a certain register, to find an area of your technique that you can improve with a deadline, and then to hopefully see improvement on that area, as opposed to setting your sights on an outcome, because you just don't really have control over the outcome. So if you set your sights there, you're just really setting yourself up for disappointment.
Right.
And it's a really wonderful community too. I mean, the more you get, the music world generally is a very welcoming and warm community, but the more you get specialized into something, the more you begin to see the beating heart of music is really, really strong and really generous, and there's a lot of really good people that are there. I talk to a lot of young people all the time, and I usually get this question from their parents, but it's applicable. The one thing I would say that's most important is when a door opens, just to walk through it. You never know what the door is going to have behind it. You never know what the next thing is going to be, but I think a lot of musicians in particular, ones who strive to be performers and orchestra soloists, they see this life in their dreams where they're traveling the world and playing with an orchestra and all the things that all of us want to do. And the path to achieving that is not so clear cut. And most people have no idea when you graduate really how to get to that point. But if you kind of put your head down and you just kind of keep pushing forward, eventually something will come out of it. And you never know what that something is, but embrace it. Whatever that thing is, whether it's getting the opportunity to learn how to work in a recording studio, or maybe you have a friend who beatboxes, I don't know, and you can do something new and different, to help you pay the bills and to get the extra year of practice under your belt, and to do that, whatever it is, it's a long game you have to play,
Mm-hmm.
And so when there's an opportunity, it often doesn't look like it's coming to you gift wrapped and with a nice neat bow on it. You have to see the opportunity for what it is, and maybe that's just the eternal optimist in me, but you have to embrace it.